What is going on, Jet fans? Matt O'Leary back with another video on this Monday afternoon, early evening. A couple things that I got to get into today. One, not so great. The second one is intriguing as the Jets are inviting Jakeem Grant to participate in minicamp. We'll get into him second, but first, I have some news that I could share with you guys. So I can share with you guys that Haason Reddick was not in attendance for Jets Media Day today, which was mandatory. I know mandatory minicamp begins tomorrow and runs through Thursday, but today was the day for Media Day. You saw the Jets pushing out a lot of content. They're getting the video of all these guys in their uniforms and stuff like that. But they also do physicals today. And I could tell you that Haason Reddick was not in the building for that today. That's what I heard. And I know we haven't seen that anywhere else, but this is going to go back to the schedule thing from about a month ago. You're going to have to trust me on it. Haason Reddick was not in the building today. Now, the question then becomes, does that mean he will be there tomorrow for mandatory minicamp? I lean towards no. Obviously, I don't have the answer for you. I can't just come out and say, he's definitely holding out. He's not going to be there tomorrow. I don't know that for sure. We don't know if, who knows, maybe the Jets come to some agreement tonight or tomorrow on a new deal and he goes in there. But based on the information that we have, number one, that we know that Robert Saleh wasn't in contact with Haason Reddick, out of the coach's mouth, said that to the media openly. And on top of that, we know that, or I know at least, and I'm sharing with you guys, that Haason Reddick was not in the building today. Once again, that leads me to believe that he won't be there for at least the start of minicamp. And I really hope that I'm wrong, by the way. I hope that I am wrong, and I hope he's in the building and working out with the team in mandatory minicamp. But once again, as we know, it's been very well documented that Haason Reddick is looking for a new contract. He is in the final year of his deal that he signed with the Philadelphia Eagles. He gets $15 million this year. None of it is guaranteed. I think how I would handle this, and I talked about it in my first video today, but that was before we knew this information. How I would handle this, I would redo the deal for this season for 2024, and then I would add a 2-year extension on top of that. But really, so it'd be kind of like a pseudo 3-year deal, with the first year being, this year for 2024, but kind of like that third year is basically fake. It's a 2-year deal, and you could opt into it if things just go swimmingly, or that Aaron Rodgers is returning in 2026. But I think that kind of a move would align them with the window of opportunity that we have here potentially with Aaron Rodgers for the next 2 seasons. I think that's a deal that could potentially make sense for both sides. We use Danielle Hunter as a comp. Roughly about $25 million a year, I think, is what you're looking at, plus or minus a couple million on either side of that, just because this is someone who, again, I know he's 30 years old, which is why I don't want to go crazy long term for him, but he's been extremely productive, double-digit sacks each of the last 4 seasons. Okay, now for the second half of this video, Jakeem Grant will participate in Jets minicamp on a tryout basis. So if that name sounds familiar to you, it's because he was once a very, very good returner. He was a second-team All-Pro returner for Miami in 2021, and he split time with Miami and Chicago in 2022, but he also was a Pro Bowler and second-team All-Pro in that season. In his career, he has 4 punt returns for a touchdown and 2 kick returns for a touchdown. But here's the catch. He's been essentially out of the NFL the last 2 years. Honestly, this story is very reminiscent of what we saw the Jets do with Tariq Cohen. The Jets brought in a former return specialist who has just been on the shelf due to injuries, and unfortunately that's exactly what has happened with Jakeem Grant over the last couple of seasons. In 2022, he tore his Achilles in training camp with the Cleveland Browns. Unfortunately, that's something that's been a little bit more common in the NFL over the past few years. We've seen guys tear their Achilles. We saw 2 for the New York Jets this past year with Aaron Rodgers and Elijah Vera Tucker. Tried to make the comeback and was making a comeback for the Cleveland Browns in 2023, was playing for them in the preseason, and then in the final preseason game in 2023, ruptures patella tendon. Like, that is just so brutal. Really feel for him. Absolutely unreal. But I think what we're going to see here is him competing with Tariq Cohen and Xavier Gibson and maybe Izzy Abanikanda and Malachi Corley and guys like that for their return job. And in today's new NFL with the new rules, you need a couple of return guys in both, as you know, for punt returns, kick returns, the whole thing. And it's going to be so much more emphasized. And honestly, like, there's not a guarantee that Grant is making this roster. I'm not going to sit here with you today and tell you in June he's going to make the roster and he's going to be the return guy, which is exactly, you know, kind of the same take that I was giving you about, what, a week, 2 weeks ago, maybe at the most, when Tariq Cohen was signed. But they're adding competition and really putting an emphasis on special teams. It matters in this new rule format, and I, for one, am really excited to see how it plays out. And that's something that I really think maybe not as much in minicamp, or to a certain extent, I guess, if Grant just got a tryout. So I guess they're going to be doing special teams over the next few days. Keep a close eye on this, as well as in training camp in the preseason, the competition that the Jets are running at kick returner and punt returner, because again, it's something that's really going to be emphasized with the new rule format and something that's really important. Thankfully, the Jets are extremely well coached on special teams. Brant Boyer has done a phenomenal job and has survived many coaching staffs. He goes back to the Todd Bowles era New York Jets. He then was on with Adam Gase, and he stays on with Robert Saleh, and has had multiple very good special teams units, whether it was going back to Jason Myers as his kicker for a while, and then most recently the success with Greg Zerloin and Thomas Morstead, had really positive seasons with Braxton Berrios and got a lot out of Xavier Gibson, and is just a very well-respected special teams guys. And the Jets were very good in special teams DVOA last year. The last 2 years, they've been very good in the special teams game, and that's so important for, once again, a team that I believe, and many believe, you watching this I'm sure believe it, are going to be competing. And if you're going to be a competitive team, you want to take out as many variables that can make you lose games as possible. Bad special teams loses you games in the playoffs. Ask Aaron Rodgers about special teams in the playoffs, his last playoff game with the Green Bay Packers in the 2021 season. That's how his playoff career with the Green Bay Packers came to a close, is because they special teams play in Lambeau in the cold in January. So it really matters, and the Jets having a good special teams is super important. But I want to hear from you guys. Let me know in the comments if you think that Haason Reddick is going to show up tomorrow or not. Are you worried? Also, let me know what you think about the Jets bringing in some help on special teams as well. Let me know. I am Matt O'Leary. Subscribe if you're new. Give the video a like before you go. I'll catch you next time.